What's up, everybody? Welcome to Say With a Twist. I know it's been a minute, but life been lifing, and I've been having conversations with people, and I've come to this conclusion that there are too many people trying to tell us how to live our life, but we can't say nothing about theirs. So let me tell you this in the nicest way I can say it. Respectfully, I don't want their life. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to need y'all to stop acting like something's wrong with me because I don't want the life that you want for me. Some of us, we not lost in the sauce. We not. We just aren't choosing the same route that you chose, and we're actually going a different direction than what you would pick. And from the conversations I've been having with people, it's not what people say. It's what they expect without actually saying it, and that's the pressure that nobody's talking about. So I got a couple of little bullet points in my notes of some things that me and some friends, and some other people, I got a temperature check with the folks. What we have come up with and what we have talked about and discussed, and of course I had to bring it to Save With a Twist because we are saved. We love the Lord, but there's always a twist, okay? Number one, when are you going to get married? Or when are you going to have kids? So, I have a friend. He is now engaged, but that's neither here nor there. He wrote a book about people asking you about when you're going to get married. And I'm going to say this, respectfully, mind your business. I've had so many people come to me, talk to me about it, asking me, when you going to have a baby? Or when are you going to get married? And it's always the baby question first. It's not even the when you're going to get married. Because I am of this mindset, I want a husband if I'm going to have a baby. Right now, I don't have a desire to have kids because this world is jacked up and I'm not trying to bring a life into this crazy, psychotic place that is the disunited States of America. So it's always, when are you going to have a baby? Stop asking me that question. Mind you, stay out of my uterus, as a matter of fact. Stop it. Now, we're going to dive into that a little bit more later, but stay out of my uterus. The when you're going to get married. And a lot of times they're asking me that question when I'm not dating anybody. Oh, when are you going to get married? When the man shows up. How about that? When he shows up. Because I'm doing just fine. Living my cute little life. And here you come trying to stick your nephew, grandson, or whomever in my face, and he ain't about nothing. Respectfully, mind your business, okay? That conversation is old, it's tired. If you have someone who is a little bit older and is trying to pressure you into this, do me a favor, send them a clip for this podcast. I will tell them respectfully, mind your business. Then we have career expectations. And then those career expectations lead to, the success conversation. And then that success conversation leads to, are you worthy conversations. Now, mind you, here's a little backstory about me. When I was 3 years old, I said I want to be a lawyer. I was 3. I had that desire most of my life. At one point, I said I want to be a psychiatrist. And then I was like, no, I don't. But then I came back to, let's be a lawyer. So I took the route of having a criminal justice degree. I thought I wanted to be a criminal attorney. Did not know that there were other different types of attorneys or whatever, because they really only tell you about like the prosecutor, defense attorney. Was not a lot of things when I was growing up of them saying, there's property law, tax law. You can be a lawyer to argue for art. Didn't know that, because probably would have changed my major to something else. I did have a lawyer tell me I should change my major to English. I was like, I don't want to do that. I should have listened, because I love writing and I love the written word. I love spoken word. I really should have changed my major to English. I probably would have been done a lot faster. But I I stuck with criminal justice, and I went to, law school when I was like in my senior year, and I started asking questions and started asking everything. And I basically was hanging out at the law school like I was a student there. And I learned some things, and I was like, actually, respectfully, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. And the passion that I've now found of the career that I want to have has nothing to do with what I got my degree in. Why? Because at that time, the actual thing that I was loving and passionate about did not exist when I first went out to college. Because guess what? Social media was a baby. It was an infant. We had MySpace? Then we had Facebook, and Tom was everybody's friend. And now it has grown into the thing that it has grown into now. And I love being on there, doing strategy, all the things. However, no one talks about this. We don't break it down of the things you want to do, because sometimes we don't follow our passions. We follow what can make us money. And that brings me to what I'm about to say now. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this. My mother, top dog of supporting me. She's always got my back. But I've had family members who have talked to me and said things to me, and they have been so discouraging. And I say this to say, because what if I have the career, I want to make a career change. Did I ask you for your opinion on my career change? No, I didn't. However, I do ask that you just support me. That means pray for me. That does not mean give me advice unless I ask for it, because I am not one of those that likes to take unsolicited advice. I've learned to change some of those ways, but I'm just going to say this to say, if I want to change my career, the trajectory of my life, if I want to implode on something that I'm doing or whatever, it's my life to live. Yes, I know you may love me and you want to give me a cautionary tale, but sometimes even your cautionary is just basically you nagging on me of saying that I should have did X, Y, Z. And it's just really because you don't understand it, nor are you trying to take the time out to understand it. So I'm going to say this respectfully, mind your business. And if you have someone in your life who is kind of like that, where they're naysay on what you do, but they support everybody else, you can go ahead and send them this clip. Respectfully, mind your business. Then, for my saints and my ain'ts. Okay. Because we have some saints who now are ain'ts, and vice versa. Let's talk about that church pressure versus the actual calling that the Lord has put on you. I did tell y'all this podcast is called Say with a Twist. Let's break it down like this. The church wants you on a specific timeline. And they want you to act the way that they want you to act. But then you have what you and the Lord have talked about, because when you know them, you know them. You got a good conversation with them. What you and the Lord have discussed, and then what you and the Lord discuss actually conflicts with what the church wants for you. So I have said this before on this podcast. I am an aspiring missionary. I am on that journey. That journey has been very slow because of the leadership that we have. No offense to them, but life is a life, and sometimes we have meetings, sometimes we don't. So the process will take longer. But I was at a client's church yesterday, and he was saying something about one of the people in his church who was also an aspiring missionary. He was like, she's going to get her accreditation from man, but the Lord already called her to do this, so it really doesn't matter. And I was like, that's an interesting take. Now, mind you, it's very controversial if it's said in public settings, but it made me think, if the Lord called you to do something and you're doing it because he told you to do it, and that's what he's pushing you and leading you to do, but man, basically the church and things like that, have an issue with that. Yeah, because I have been told on multiple occasions that I'm a little bit too much for the church, and I'll be like, that's great, because I'm just not for you. It's not the church as a whole, but you want to you want to blame it on the church. Just say, you know what, sometimes when you talk, you offend me. I would take that better than you saying, oh, it's offensive to the church, because in the Bible. I want you to point to the scripture where it says that what I did was offensive. Because if I simply told you the truth is going to offend you. And, that's all I'm going to say. And I will say this because, like I said, I'm very, very sure in what I want to do. Being a missionary, you don't actually have to have the title of missionary to do the work. And within our church, you do have to have titles to do certain things. But makes me know, never mind, because the Lord told me to do it, I'm going to do it. So we'll move off that for right now. And then, the other pressures that nobody talks about. Social media. And more so social media timelines. Because social media will have you thinking that you want to live this specific life based off of somebody's 30-second clip. But you don't know it until you see the behind the scenes of their life. And I'm going to say this respectfully, just go live your life and don't live nobody else's. And I wrote this specifically, so let me read this word for word for you, okay? I need everybody to hear me well. Whether it's your family, your faith background, or just culture in general, respectfully tell them that you don't need or want their pressure, okay? Because that's your problem. It's not mine. And like I said, we're going to get into this a little bit deeper. So here is something I thought would be very interesting to talk about. Do I actually want to do it? Or was I taught to? Because some of us, we don't really choose the goals. We inherit them. Like inheriting somebody else's dream for your life versus your actual personal desires. That's why I said sometimes like your family wants you to do this, but that's not actually what you want to do. You want to live your life and just enjoy, but you're trying to please your family, and now you're in something that you should never been in, because had you gone with what you want to do, you would have never been in that whole situation at all. Or are we taught to want something because that's what society and our family tells us that we want? Like, basically wanting something that's normalized. I'm going to take marriage, for instance, and I'm not bashing marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing. But do you actually want to be married? Or are you just doing it because somebody told you that you should? Because I have seen some great marriages. I've seen some bad marriages. And I've seen some people who are married and they didn't ask a deeper question. Because in the church, most black churches in certain areas, you're taught get married, have kids, do whatever, stay married. He can be a low down, dirty dog, speaking from a woman's perspective. Or, if you're a man, she can be something else, because as a woman, I know we can be something else. But you're taught to stay there. You're taught to pray through it instead of seeking therapy and getting actual help. Because sometimes they're like, what the Lord brings together, let no man tear asunder. Sometimes the Lord didn't put that together. People put y'all together, and y'all should have never been together. And then also, do you really want it, or are you just doing it because you don't want to disappoint somebody? Like, are you in this career because you don't want to disappoint somebody? Are you in this marriage so you won't disappoint somebody, or so that you don't look bad? Yep, because I feel like I know a couple of people who, honestly, at this point in their marriage, they should get divorced. Because there is no love there. It's just awful. But, I mean, they're still there because I know it's because they don't want to disappoint their families, or they don't want to look like a failure. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But, it is what it is. So, now I have a question for you. Think about it, and I want you to tell me in comments. If nobody asked you about it, would you still want the life that you have right now? Is that the life you want, or is it the life somebody else wanted for you? And you're just living their dream. So, respectfully, let's redefine the conversations that people want us to do right now. Like, let's talk about the I don't want marriage, I don't want kids, corporate, ministry, all the things, okay? Let's talk about that. Because maybe I do, maybe just not right now, or maybe I don't at all, and that's okay. And let me tell you, timing doesn't mean that you're failing. Sometimes there are different times in your life for different things, okay? And I'm going to say this. We always say a blessing delayed is not a blessing denied. And also, a delay doesn't mean that you're dysfunctional in any type of way. Sometimes, for certain things in life, you honestly are just not mature enough for it. That's about the best way I can put it. You're just simply not mature enough for it. Like, not wanting to get married. I have met some people who say, yes, I want to be married, but just not right now. Because me, I'm not, and I'm not saying me personally, this is what they're saying. They're like, for me, I am not in the emotional space to be married right now, nor am I in the mental space to be married right now. Because did y'all ever think that sometimes people just they're not there? They're not there. Then we also have not wanting to have kids. Like I said, I have recently come to this decision more so at the start of the year that I don't desire to have kids anymore the way that I did. It has helped take a lot of pressure off of my life. I remember a conversation I had with my mother, because I said to somebody, I'm going to be the eternal auntie. She was like, don't say that. You're going to have kids. Now, she didn't say it in that tone, but that's just the way I took it in my head. But honestly, I'm okay with being the eternal auntie, because I do, like I said, I desire kids, but I don't have to have them. I don't. There are so many other ways to have kids instead of naturally giving birth to them. You can adopt. We know there may come with some challenges and some issues. You can foster. But I'm starting to feel like, because as much as I do in youth ministry, if I had my own children, I wouldn't do youth ministry. Youth ministry is a thankless job. And it's a job that does not pay you really anything unless you are doing it, I don't know what type of way. You can't get paid for it, but it's really a thankless job, especially when you do it within the church. I don't have the desire for children of my own like I once did, because I have so many spiritual children of different ages. Yes, they have mostly grown up, but I feel like if I had my own children, I'm not going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to talk to a child who's in a crisis when I have my own child that's probably going to wake up within an hour or two or so, to get up for the day. I wouldn't want to do it. Like, that's something where, like I said, if I do end up married, my husband says he wants a child, sure, we can go that route, but it's not this overwhelming pressure to say, I must have kids before 40. I'm getting closer to 40 every day, and like I said, the desire has receded a lot, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then a lot of these kids who are my spiritual children have had children. I am like now a spiritual grandma. I'm Gigi. I can watch your child and be like, ooh, I don't want to do this. Take it back. Because I want to be able to live the life that I want to live. And I feel like that's okay. And if you don't like that, tough. And another thing, I have this example of not chasing titles. And this can go for corporate world or church and ministry. I'm just going to stick with ministry, because in the corporate world, I don't think I would want those titles, because when the stuff blow up, you're the one that's blamed for it. In ministry, I feel like it's a little bit more giving of grace than it is in the corporate world. But some people I know are chasing after titles within the church. I hold specific titles within the church. I am an aspiring missionary. I hold the title of an assistant chair lady. I hold the title of a commission leader. Sometimes it's director. It just really depends. And I don't like titles. I had someone calling me missionary at church, and I was not doing this on purpose, but I never answered them until they called me by my actual name. And they were like, "Did you not hear me calling you?" I was like, "No, because my name is not missionary. My name is Darissa. Some people call me D. I prefer you call me D if you cannot pronounce my actual name." And I'm okay with not having titles. The one title I always say that I love the most of all titles is the title that I've earned from one of the ministries that I've been doing, which is Coach D. Everybody calls me Coach D. And when I first started out doing this ministry, I used to be like, what's her name? Diana from Dancing Dolls. You got Miss Diana and you got Coach D. And I was like, Coach D is the worst one. Though now I used to be like, it's Miss Darissa and Coach D. You don't want Coach D, you want Miss Darissa, because Miss Darissa is the fun person. But now Coach D has just become the name, my moniker. When people see me in the hallway, "Oh, you're Coach D," or "You're the cheerleading lady." But that's the title that I care about, because I actually earned it, not the titles that people want to bestow upon me, because I don't care about the titles that you bestow upon me. And I don't know for you, what titles, are you chasing titles? Or is that what you're trying to do? Or maybe say, I don't want them at all. Because like I said, I have these titles, but I could care less about it. My name is Darissa. When I go before the Lord, maybe 100 years from now, I'm going to live a long time, he's not going to call me by my titles. He's going to call me by my name. That's all I got to say. And then this part of wanting peace over prestige. I'm just going to say this. Right now, and this is a right now conversation, I know quite a few people who are chasing the prestige and not the peace. Because why does your name have to be called for everything, huh? Do you not know how to affirm yourself? Like, I know how to say, Darissa, you did a great job today. You look good, girl. Even if your face may be working out in acne right now, you look good. You're cute. You're not the size that you want to be physically. That's all right. We're going to do a little bit of a workout. We're going to do at least 30 minutes of some high intensity activity, okay? We're going to breathe through it. We're going to drink some water. And we're going to pray that we don't pass out and collapse, okay? That's what we're going to do. But I know quite a few people who, like I said, are chasing the prestige. I would suggest, this is just my suggestion to you, chase that peace. Because, baby, that peace where you can just relax and chill and you ain't even got to worry about nothing. It's beautiful. And I'm going to say this. We don't talk about it a lot, but there are times where you feel guilty for wanting something different than other people. I am a victim of this. There are times where I feel selfish because I don't want to do the things that my family would prefer for me to do. And I say family, which is just a generalized statement, but family, what friends want me to do, what society would think that I'm supposed to be wanting at this moment. I feel that way. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're off track, like, I don't know what I want out of life. You do, you just don't know how you want to proceed with doing it within I don't want to say the means of society, but within the barriers of society. Because then it's kind of like if you're doing it, I'm kind of feeling like an outcast. But you're not. It's just that you want something different and you see it differently than other people. And I think I also feel guilty because I don't know how to express it. And then I do and don't at the same time want to be accepted for my choices, but people make you feel bad for wanting something different and outside of the norm. And then there's this projection that happens with that. You feel guilty for wanting something different because people are now projecting, oh no, you should do this. No, you should do that. No, you should really do this because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a woman who wants kids. What if you don't? Like, I know y'all are saying Grey's Anatomy, and Christina was like, I don't want them at all. I will love them. I will be the auntie, but I don't want them. I want my career. Then you have Meredith, who was like, I don't know about if I want kids, but I have kids and my kids are my world. But my career is also my world too. Like, you got some people that can do both in balance. Kudos to you. But, that projection, the wanting something different, it's a guilty thing. And then that's when people want to call you confused, when you don't follow the script that's been laid out, whether they did it or society did it. It's a lot. But I will say, redefining the life that you want, that's a great thing. You don't have to have the standard life that everybody else has, but you can have the life that you want. Okay? Not the life that everybody wants you to have. Just live a good life. You don't have to keep putting pressure on yourself. You can choose to accept the peace of knowing that this is what I want. I'm going to stand resolute in it, and just be there, okay? Just be done with it. And I would say I would rather wake up to a good life and a life that I wanted versus the life that somebody's forcing me into. And just know, you as a person, you're allowed to evolve. You don't have to rush through life. You don't have to rush through anything. And you are allowed to choose differently. You are. And you just have to say respectfully, I don't want that life. I want mine. But hopefully, this podcast has been very informative, interesting, or just a straight up rant if you think that. But I hope to see you guys next week on Say With a Twist. And drop in the comments, was there something that you want to tell somebody respectfully? I don't want that. But again, I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.